All right, guys, let's get a deal. Let's go out and get a deal today. That's the whole point of this course. I want you to go out and I want you to find an unbelievable wholesale deal or a flip for yourself or a rental or whatever it is, whatever your strategy is, but we're going to find a deal today. The fact is, brand new real estate investors, 80% of the time, get their first deal from driving for dollars, from literally going out into their communities, finding the roughest looking properties and talking to the property owners and making offers. This business comes down to two things. If you really boil it all down, filter it all down, it comes to conversations and offers. But having conversations with the right people is the key. Deal Machine solves all of those problems. I did my first 20 deals from driving around with zero budget, writing down the addresses of the roughest looking properties in my in the neighborhoods that surrounded my house, and that's how I did my first 20 deals. We don't have to overcomplicate this, and we're going to give you the exact steps right here in this course, in this training, so that you can go out and take massive imperfect action. And to set this all up is the master himself, Matt Camp with Deal Machine. Matt, how are you?
Brent, doing amazing, man. Thank you so much for having us on. Love teaming up with you. I know you've been a Deal Machine a customer using us since 2018, like 6+ years now. So you've seen us evolve with a ton of new iterations. Our whole goal with everything we do over here is to give you technology that, like you said, to cut through that BS and do the things that matter. Like spend your time on the actions that actually lead to deals. And so our goal is to help you come in, really think about how to get your first deal in the next 30 days. We can break this down into really a 3-step playbook on exactly how to do that. So we'll give you that deep dive here today of step-by-step. Here's what our most successful customers are doing. We have some brand new features that I'm very, very excited to show off here within this training too, guys. And we've had over 10,000 deals done using the Deal Machine app to this point. We hit that milestone last year. That is where we're getting this playbook from. We don't want you to reinvent the wheel. We want to show you, hey, here's what has worked over the years in every market. Didn't invent driving for dollars, as Brent said, like, hey, that's how he did his first deals. We're just giving you technology to make it way more approachable, way more efficient, way more effective. And we'll break it down step by step for you here today.
Conversations and offers, not research. Let the resources do the research for you so that you can literally click a button and you're connected with a property owner and you're asking them if they would consider an offer on your property. That's what this training is all about. And that's what we're going to show you exactly how to do that. So Matt, take it away, brother.
There we go. So to really dig into this, I'll say, again, it's a 3-step playbook. The 3 pillars of this, first is going to be how to build your list. So how to find the most motivated sellers in your market. We've got a couple strategies there. I want to share with you guys exactly what our most successful customers are doing there, really break that down step by step. The second piece is, okay, great. Now that you've got these addresses, what do you do with them? How do you reach out to them? How do you turn these addresses into quality conversations? And so we're going to talk through, we've got including a gigantic new feature launch in that second section here that I'll share with you guys, breaking down exactly how to use that, as well as a couple other marketing methods to go make those conversations happen. And then the third piece is, okay, great. We have the right addresses. We're having the right conversations. When it comes to making an offer and talking price, what does that look like? How do we get to that number? And so we've got a couple of tools to help you do that, as well as just be as efficient and effective as possible in those conversations, in your follow-up, and going to close deals, your first deal or your next deal, as quickly as possible. So does that sound good, man, if I break it down here?
Let's go.
All right. Awesome. Perfect. So first off here, again, we're focused on building our list. So I know high level, Brent, do you have any advice on like how to pick an area to go drive, to go start doing the strategy? Because I can share in Deal Machine, but I'd love to hear your thoughts first.
Yeah, you want to go into the older areas. You want to go into the areas where there's a little bit of rust on these houses, right? You want to go in where, they don't have landscaping, or the landscaping's, really overgrown. You want to go into the areas where, the roofs that haven't been replaced, you can really see, what's going on there. You just want some wear and tear. Typically, when we're looking at properties that were built before 1994, or at least 30 years old. That's our bread and butter for the areas that we like building our Driving for Dollars list. Also, the better areas that they were established in the 50s and the 60s, and they're on good sized lots, and a lot of builders are either knocking down houses completely and building up, or they're adding on to smaller houses that were built, a few generations ago. So those are the really, really, really the hot spots that we found with our deals.
Amazing. There we go. So when Brent's describing that, hopefully you're thinking of areas of town that you're looking at investing in, whether it be the one that you're physically based in or a different area that you're investing, thinking through those areas of town and then identifying zip codes specifically within those areas to say, hey, yeah, if I want to go start driving in those areas, amazing. We don't want to hold you back. Go start driving. If you want to get really specific and say, hey, where are those clusters of older homes to really look up? We can pick out a couple different zip codes and really make it extremely easy to just quickly select one of those to go after and then start driving for dollars. So Brent, is there, thinking about Phoenix area, do you have any zip codes off the top of your head, just, that you can throw out for me? And, I'm putting you on the spot here.
885037.
Cool. Awesome. 885037.
Yep.
Wait, hold on. I have an extra digit in here. Is it 85037?
Yep.
Oh, there we go. Okay, cool. So what I'm showing you guys inside Deal Machine right here is you see this is the desktop version of Deal Machine. You also have a mobile app as well. So anything I put on desktop, anything I put on mobile, if I add a lead on either one, it's going to instantly sync up. Desktop, so again, picture this, but squeeze down your phone is what it's going to look like on mobile. Where you can start with is I'm in the map tab right here to start off. So this top bar within the map tab is your filter bar. This is where you can come in, put a zip code like I'm putting, put a city, put a county, whatever you'd like to start with a big, broad area and type that in. And when you do that, we got 85037 in Arizona. Let's kick this over here. It's going to highlight that exact area inside Deal Machine. On the right side is going to be your browse bar. So you can see any property that fits the criteria that you're putting into Deal Machine right there. And then on the bottom is you've got this real-time number of properties that fit your criteria. So what's great about this approach is, yes, you could build a list, on the spot. You could go in here and use all kinds of, we have hundreds of filters to work with to be able to pull a list from. You could go in. I highly recommend turning on the single family property type to kind of help you understand the opportunity within a particular zip code. So you can put as many data points right there as you'd like and then build your list. But to really understand, okay, what pockets of Phoenix or of St. Louis or of wherever you're based is a hot spot for driving for dollars, to go out there and identify how many properties are older, have been built a while ago. I would recommend, thinking about that area of town that you thought of when Brent mentioned that, put a zip code in that area, and then go in here and say, hey, yeah, show me all of the properties that have been built. Did you say 1994, Brent? Was that 30 years ago?
Yep.
So I would go in here and say, show me all the, okay, cool. Show me all the properties with a year built that is less than 1994. So you can come in here. Cool. They're at least 30 years old. 5,983 properties. You see them start to pop up right here. So you can look and see, hey, these neighborhoods in town, these areas of town are fantastic spots to go start looking, because there's older homes. You can put on other things like, hey, are they higher equity? Are they, you can put in property characteristics. Are they tax delinquent? Things like that. But it's just a great way to kind of look and identify areas of town that have these hot spots of properties that are built a while ago, and get you a really great place to make sure you're using the best use of your time when out driving for dollars. So, Brent, is there anything else there that you guys kind of tweak in terms of understanding where to go driving?
Yeah, I want to go where people have owned the properties for a while, right? I want the older properties, but also the properties that have been owned for at least 7 years. We know that the average home ownership is 7 years long. So they're getting about the time that they want to sell, or they're past the time that most people sell. So I want to see where people have owned these properties for a while. I want them to be older, and that gives me a good idea of, or at least a good theory that there's going to be a lot of properties there that need some love and need some renovation.
Yep. Where to go drive. Awesome. So if you want to go that next layer down, you could also say, put on this and filter. Again, You've got, pricing, bed and bath. You've got a bunch of quick filters you can work with here inside Deal Machine. But I recommend coming into that more button if you can't find something, putting on that and filter, which means, hey, it's going to fit this data point and this data point, rather, so it's narrowing in, right? And you could say, hey, show me properties that haven't sold. Was it 15 years? You said last sale date?
7.
Oh, 7 years. Apologies there. Is before, let's see, we'll say more than 7 years ago. So you can come in here more than 7 years ago. Awesome. Confirm that. And now we can start to see, hey, yep, these areas of town, they have older properties. They haven't sold in a while. They're single family homes in, the zip code you're looking at. Fantastic. Both of these areas, I think, are going to be really, really strong places to be able to go start driving for dollars. So that's really all the research you need here, guys. Like, don't overthink it. The real key, like Brent said, is going out there and leading with action, going out there and being able to start to build that list. You can use data to kind of help you get better and better at choosing that general area and doing it very, very quickly in a couple minutes. But I would start there, and to execute on this first pillar, don't overthink it. So you've got this area of town. If I want to zoom in and start actually, driving for dollars there, again, if I'm going to actually, be doing this on the mobile app, this is where I would switch to mobile. It's going to lock onto my location. So Deal Machine is going to lock on your location. You'll see all these highlights start to pop up. These are, again, single family homes that are, older and haven't sold in quite a while. And so as I start to drive around, it's going to, lock onto my location. You'll see a little blue dot pop up. And as I drive down West Columbus Avenue right here, it's going to follow me. You'll see it as I go through this. I'm looking for those properties in real life that have the tarp on the roof, or have gutters falling off, have broken boarded up windows, have a front yard or backyard that's a mess, I would say, if it's, maybe not in Phoenix, but in St. Louis, like really, really overgrown grass, things that show you like, hey, they might be vacant, really overstuffed mailboxes, just signs that for whatever reason, the owner is just not keeping up with the physical appearance of the property. They, can't keep up with the appearance potentially. It is the number one indicator they may be a motivated seller. And outside of that too, it's the number one factor that you might be finding those less competitive leads. You might be finding those diamonds in the rough that don't necessarily appear on a list like this because, hey, you went out there and you earned this list. You put in that time. You drove around, you looked for those houses, whereas everybody else might be sitting behind a computer and trying to find lists like this. You are building a list that no one else has. So, Brent, is there any other factors that you really look for, as maybe in the Phoenix market too, of like as you
don't overthink this, guys. Don't overthink. I mean, if you want to, the beautiful thing with Deal Machine, you could literally pull this list, save this list, and go after this list right now, right? You don't even have to drive around and look at if these are the worst properties. But it's always good to really refine your list, especially if you have a congested schedule. If you're not doing this business full time and you need to be super, super, super efficient with your time, well, we all should be super efficient with our time, but especially if you can only do this business an hour a day or a few hours a day, or maybe on the weekends or after work or whatever it is, then you're going to want to refine this list by going into these neighborhoods and finding which of these properties are going to be the really roughest ones. And then I want you to like be obsessed with them. I want you to do everything possible. And we're leading into step 2, which is actually having a conversation with the property owner. And that's really where the magic happens. We can all pull these lists. We can drive around. We can do that with the app. And that'll help us get us a really clean list. But we got to press go at some point and start talking to these people and having a conversation. Do everything that you can. Door knock them, call them. You can set up direct mail in Deal Machine that'll automatically be sending out pieces of mail to these property owners every single month. Well, whatever cadence you want, every month, every 6 weeks, every 2 months, whatever it is, to just have a conversation with this property owner. But you should be obsessed with at least 1,000 of the ugliest properties that you can find. Right? You go out and you find 1,000 really rough looking properties and you get obsessed with having some contact with that property owner. You will win. You will win. Absolutely. I am telling you, you will find unbelievable deals.
Love it. So Real quick here, before that second step, I want to share a couple quick pro tips in here. Again, like you said, Brent, don't overthink it when you're driving for dollars. Just simply see a rundown house. I see, 8848 West Columbus Avenue in real life is not looking great. I hit add lead on here. It's going to pin that property. That means it's added to your list, and then you move on to the next one. So that's where you start to really build that list of leads. I will say, yes, 1,000 is an awesome goal to aim for. Even just on our end, when we look at the data and see, hey, where are people kind of turning the corner? Where are they more likely to stick with this and do this long term and land their first deal, whether it's in this first list of leads or not? 100 leads, 100 driving for dollars leads is that threshold. When people hit that number, they have built that into their schedule. They're starting to train themselves to look for these opportunities. They're starting to get excited. The light bulb's going off. Like, people are understanding the long-term picture. And if you can just simply get to 100 driving for dollars leads, you might have a deal in there. You probably don't. You probably need more than that. But when you hit that number 100, you are putting the right systems and processes in place to stick with this long-term and to be successful with this strategy. So aggressively aim for that number, get to that point as fast as you can, and you're in a great spot for long-term success here. Again, as you drive around, you can be clicking, you simply click on the property, hit add lead. Again, don't overthink it. It pins the property. You keep going. You can switch over to satellite mode. That'll actually show you the roofs of the properties as well, kind of give you a great opportunity there. Let me kick back over to Phoenix for us. As you drive around as well, you're going to see that there is a route tracking mode too. So on the mobile app, when you hit add lead, or when you hit drive for leads rather, it's going to actually pop up with a little tail behind you. And at 6 months, first it's going to be green. At 6 months, it turns yellow. At a year, it turns red. And that is huge for just understanding, how do I blanket my entire neighborhood? How do I go through my whole area as efficiently and effectively as possible? And that means, hey, going down every street, never doubling back on your routes. When I see they're yellow over there and, oh man, I've done deals over there, let me redrive that. Like, it really kind of helps you plan your day and getting out there. And then the virtual drive you talk about here, Brent, too. If I click on this little virtual drive button, this orange button here on mobile, it says drive for leads and then virtual drive. I then click anywhere on the map, hit start driving. And here's where it's going to be just like you said in real life. You're clicking for dollars here. You're, if you only have time at night to be able to drive and it's hard to find daylight, or you're doing it virtually in a different market, or you have a virtual assistant helping you out, like, you can do this to really do the same idea of clicking on properties, looking at houses. If it looks run down, great, hit that add lead button, and same thing over and over again. You are building that list to then take action on, like you're talking about here. So
and guys, this is what I would do. This is like, I went out and drove around because I didn't have a deal machine. If you're in like an established area and that Google updates their driving maps, this is a no-brainer. You could have your high school, junior high, maybe even like, sixth graders trained to do this at home. Make them, bring them into the business with you if you have kids or a relative or a neighbor or somebody that is wants a part-time job, and you can pay them a little bit to just go driving for dollars and adding. You train them on, okay, this is what you're looking for. I'm looking for properties that need a lot of renovation. I don't know how you ended up in Avondale, but that's not
I switched out. Yeah. I moved around the map there, so
because you're in a much better area.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
It's but you can drop your password and email into somebody that is a VA or whatever, and they're doing the driving for dollars for you, and it's tracking everything, and it shows you how far they went. So it's not like they're not doing the work. You can make sure that there's accountability there. You can pay somebody $4 an hour or more if you want to bring in somebody that's going to do this, or you could just have a lot of fun with it. I have a lot of students that they just sit on their computer after work, and it's almost like a video game that they're playing, where they're hunting for the ugliest properties possible to go out and to add to their list so that they can go after. It's really, really, really fun. So you can gamify this big time. You can gamify this and find some really great opportunities, and then just start going after them.
Yep, and it tracks your route right here, tells you, how many leads you added, all of that, so you can again continue to get more efficient and effective at this. Again, the goal is to get to that 100 leads as quickly as possible, whether it be the physical driving for dollars, the virtual driving. I know you mentioned the list building right there as well. That's all right at your fingertips. But as you go through this thing, like, you'll continue to get better and better at this. And I know in general, hey, it's a numbers game. So the more leads we add here, the better we get at this. The more action we can be taken in the right direction and the more reps you get in. I'll say as well, the virtual driving too, you will see when you jump into Deal Machine, it'll actually tell you how long ago that photo was taken. So you can see, hey, this was taken July of 2022. I know we get that question often of like, oh, is this a good lead or not? Well, hey, just compare when that photo was taken date to when that house was last sold. So you can see, hey, this was last sold in 2009. So we know that, hey, this property has not changed hands since this photo was taken. It's likely looking in a similar condition. And that means that even if it's a couple-year-old photo, if it's a rough-looking house, that it's still probably a pretty solid lead because it hasn't changed hands. So that is really, I wanted to start there, spend a good chunk of time there, Brent, on that first step, because driving for dollars is such an effective way to go do this. You're using data in a smart way to be more efficient and effective at this. You can add other people to your Deal Machine account to drive with you, drive for you in all these different ways. But if you are feeding your list with a super high quality leads, you are already putting yourself in a great path of success with this. So,
well, the other thing that I'll mention here before we move on, there's a segment of real estate investors that do really well with door knocking. Mm-hmm. And the beautiful thing about Deal Machine is you can filter when they were last bought, how old the properties are, but you can filter out pre-foreclosures, expired listings, like out-of-state owners, absentee owners, all of these vacant properties. But you probably don't want to door knock vacant properties, but you can create a list for your door knocking team to go out and hit very targeted properties that are most likely to sell. And so that's a really, really, really strong use of the technology as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. If you come in here and want to go just purely the list building route like that, you could say, hey, show me 85037, like you said. You could start with a big area. You can then filter down by property type. So say, okay, great. Show me all the single family homes in this area. So now we're down to 13,100. You can then come in and say, hey, show me all the properties, like you said, are, year built is, greater or less than or equal to 1994. So before 1994. And then from there, that's when you can then look at those seller motivations. You can say, yeah, show me properties that fit all of those that are off market, so they're not being listed. They haven't raised their hand and saying, hey, I'm looking to sell. And that are also, like you said, they're tax delinquent. They're behind on the taxes. Great. Here's 158. That's a great list to start with. Or you can say, hey, show me high equity, but also, for door knocking, you could go through there's, tired landlord, maybe not senior owned. You could look at that, say, okay, high equity senior owned properties, things like that, where you're coming in and really identifying those niche lists where we can come in and say, yeah, fantastic, high equity properties that are tax delinquent off market. We've got 139 of those in 85037 that are single family. Great. I hit build list. I confirm build. It pulls that entire list for me. And now between that and my driving for dollars, I'm on to step 2 of, okay, what do I do with those leads? How do I turn those leads into really high quality conversations? So, are you ready for me to jump into that kind of next pillar here?
Step Brent? 2.
Awesome. Cool. So you went out there, you found the areas of town to go drive, you drove for dollars, maybe virtual drove, maybe pulled a list. Awesome. You've built a list of the best, highest quality leads out there you can get a hold of. Next step is, what do you do with those? So this leads tab right here, click into leads. This is where they all have just gone. So here's all the properties I've been adding through the D4D list I just showed you, and the one-offs I was showing you. Let me pull up. Here's the exact list of 139 I just pulled. Now, a couple things to point out here. One, I'll say having a multi-prong marketing approach. So having a couple different ways of this kind of like strategic marketing mix to reach out to them. is what we see work really, really well, just getting people's attention, because you're starting to be seen all over the place. You're reaching out to them in different ways that they prefer to be communicated with. Some people are more likely to answer a postcard. Some people are more likely to answer the door that you knock, or a flyer on the door, or a text message, or a call, or an email. If you're able to kind of execute on a couple of these strategies that give you a better chance of reaching out to them in their preferred method of communication, your conversion rates, your response rates will go up. So, being able to use technology to help you do as much of that as possible, as effectively as possible, highly recommended on our end. I'll say the way to do that, there's kind of a two-pronged approach there as well. You've got the short-term marketing, so one-to-one marketing that takes you actually going out one-to-one, kind of hand-to-hand combat here. That would be like driving the list and door knocking. That would be like cold calling. That would be one-off texting or one-off emailing, doing these things that are kind of one-to-one, not as easily to automate, not as easy to scale, but also are effective in getting out there if you put in that work. And that's definitely skews more toward, if you have more time than money, then you can do that a little bit more. The other side is, hey, if you want to be completely passive with this, and in general, using automation to execute on this stuff is going to get you in another tier of response rate. That gets you a higher and higher chance of getting that response. And so the direct mail piece you talk about there, Brent, I can show people how to do that as well, and kind of automate it and set it and forget it. And that's kind of the one-to-many, the long-term marketing, the scalable marketing. So any follow-up thoughts on that, on how we see things working?
Yeah, listen, if you have a budget, inbound marketing is awesome. If you don't have a budget, outbound marketing is awesome. So when you're reaching out, it's how is the conversation getting initiated with the property owner? Well, if you don't have a huge budget, then you're going to have to reach out to them and go and trade your time for the budget. But once you have a budget, you can be really selective and sniper approach. And you don't have to have a huge budget, by the way, to start the mail and get it going. If you don't have a tremendously, you're not sending out 10,000 postcards or letters, but if you have 100 or 200, maybe that's within your budget. It just depends. But there is a huge difference between inbound and outbound. When people are calling you because you sent them something, there's an implied motivation that they do want to sell their property because they're reaching out to you, which is absolutely awesome. And that's where all businesses go eventually, is to get as many inbound leads as possible. But until we can build our business up and have a big enough budget for marketing, you got to do outbound. You got to be proactive, not reactive. You got to initiate the conversation as opposed to, receiving those calls. And so that's a really, really, really big, change in strategy just based on what your budget is.
Love it. So I'd say there's a couple things you can do right here to be able to really make sure that you then are able to do that kind of like one-to-one outreach, the outbound, that you're talking about right here, Brent. First thing is being able to go in and, like you said, door knocking. You can select all your leads and be able to drive a list here. So I've got 139 leads in this list. I can go in, and you said, if you have a team to go drive for you, awesome. If not, hey, you can do this yourself. You just simply hit drive this list, and it's going to tell you, hey, based on those 139 leads, it's going to take you 9 hours and 54 minutes. Again, I'm on the desktop version. On the mobile app, I could just hit go on it. I can hit, drive for leads and then drive my list right here. But this is going to be a list of properties that will give you turn-by-turn navigation to the fastest route possible to hit every single one of these leads and show up at their door, to knock on it, to leave a note, to leave a door hanger, to initiate that one-to-one, outbound marketing here. So that's kind of strategy number one that you can do to be able to reach out to people, and especially in the talk to people, ideal there. Like, driving that list, going out there, continuing to drive for dollars while you're driving that list, continue to generate leads that way. Talk to the neighbors, talk to the neighborhood, start to network with that neighborhood. Like, everything that you want to do in person can be really easy to execute on when you have that guided list right there. So the door knocking feature is super powerful. The second thing here, Brent, and here's the big one that we're just launching with people. Really, really excited to announce this, guys. So you'll notice, like, hey, I never hit the skip trace button, right? I never hit, skip trace this list. At the end of last year, we launched unlimited free skip tracing. So unlimited contact information included with every single lead that you either click on in the map, or you can save them to Deal Machine. You can save, even in our starter plan, you can save 10,000 leads in Deal Machine. I mean, normally that'd be $1,000 of skip tracing, right? But, before we launch this, now that is included in Deal Machine right there. You can scroll down it. You can see right here, I've got all these numbers. You can see when they're not on the DNC list. You can see, if it's ready to call and all that. So you've got this free skip tracing right there for you. That was what we launched last year. The number one thing we heard over and over and over again since that was, hey, what do we do with those leads? How do we actually make it really easy to go in and call those individual people? And so, Brent, super excited to announce here, man. We are changing the game again here. We have launched our AI-powered dialer in addition to this free skip tracing. There we go. Love it, man. So this, I am so excited to see people get out there and start using this thing. It is, if you've used Deal Machine before, you might have noticed this at the beginning of our demo. You're like, wait a minute, what's that dialer tab up there? This is something that is literally brand new, came out on July 1st. You can see as I scroll over every individual lead, there's a call button right here. You can see now next to start mail for my list, I've got a call my list feature right here. What this is going to do, so a couple things here, what makes it the best dialer out there. First off is the outbound calls. So when you call out like this, the number one pain that we see in the industry is being labeled spam, right? Like if you actually call with a number and you get marked spam, that number is toast. Like you are not.
I literally just got a call and it said telemarketer.
Exactly.
Literally just did.
You're not picking that up. So anything we can possibly do to avoid being labeled spam is going to skyrocket your contact rate of how many times the other person picks up the phone. So we even invented a new unique way to do that. I can touch on that. Inbound calls. So, when you're sending the direct mail that we're talking about, when you're sending the automation there, now inside Deal Machine, we have call tracking, which means there's a specific number that goes out on your postcards inside Deal Machine. So if I were to go into a individual lead and hit start mail right here, I can enable that call tracking number. And when they call me, it'll be labeled Deal Machine. It'll be inside Deal Machine ringing. It'll be ringing my phone right there. All of that will be included for you. So that way you get one call tracking number. You can, buy multiple if you want. So that way each one's on a different mail campaign and down to the mail campaign where you're getting the call from. But it's a way to get those super hot leads that are coming in and making sure you always answer those. So I can show that for a second. And then the final piece that makes this unique is the AI powered piece of this, AI enabled piece of this the entire way. And it's something that the word A or the phrase AI gets thrown out all the time. People just say, oh, this is AI, we have come up with a very specific use case to make it very, very real, the value of this stuff. So being able to put all this together, if you don't mind me spending a few minutes showing this off, Brent, I'd love to show it off. Yeah, since it's brand new. All of this together, included with the unlimited contact information, the skip tracing, plus all of the demographic data in Deal Machine, all of the property data in Deal Machine, all of that together gives you superpowers here, man. It's like so powerful and easy to use. So let me show this off here. So
yeah, it really it destroys all excuses.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It destroys all the excuses because you can literally get in here. And if you just want to pull a list without driving for dollars, you could save that list and instantly be calling on really great motivated lists. I mean, obviously I want you to go and filter out and get the ugliest properties possible. And because those are what a lot of investors are looking for. But man, it removes all the excuses. It removes all the excuses. If you can literally get in within 10, 15 minutes, you're talking to property owners. I mean, I'm just telling you, the more barriers you remove from yourself speaking with a property owner, the more impact you're going to have. The more impact you're going to have, and the bigger business you're going to grow. It's the absolute fact. And anybody that you bring on and any staff that you bring on, if you make it super easy for them to just be talking to people all day long, the fact is the more conversations you have, the more offers you make, the more money you're going to make.
Exactly. Yeah. Spend your time on the actions that lead to deals, right? So
I think you've said it perfectly like 15 times in the last 30 minutes. You said efficient and effective.
Yep.
Efficient and effective, efficient and effective. So, I mean, guys, they've removed all of the excuses.
That's the
It's
goal.
over.
Yep.
It's over. Now you just press go and you're talking to property owners. It's
Yep.
bananas. It's absolutely incredible.
Yep. And that's the exciting thing. So again, you're driving for dollars, you're adding leads that way. Great. Here's a list that we pulled, a couple minutes ago. It was the high equity tax delinquent single family homes in 85392 right there. So this is the list we pulled right here. You can also import a list, by the way, too. So if you have a list anywhere else, just upload it here, and all of the skip tracing, all of the contact info, demographic data, property data, all that backfills right there. But you've got this list right in front of you that you can just hover over a number or hit call right here. And I'll show this in a second, but what it looks like is one, instead of having to learn a new platform, buy new numbers, get them validated, get onboarded into the whole thing, make sure you transfer the data into that platform, hope the data is right, like that entire process. You jump into this AI powered dialer, it just works. Like you log into Deal Machine, you hit that call button, it is set up, ready to go, and you're ready to do deals. Like you said, no more procrastination, like no more obstacles in your way. You can just hit call and start calling. And so what it looks like in here, I'll show you guys. You hit call, it'll pull up the property data and demographic data. You have the contact info already. And then the AI enablement piece throughout this thing is just going to do a few things. One, it actually real-time transcribes the call. So you'll see like, here's what Brent's saying, here's what Matt's saying, here's what Brent's saying, back and forth down the entire call. So it's doing that in real time. You'll see a little button right there. For Alma, we talk about the AI assistant. It is now the next level baked into the dialer. So there's a "What do I say next?" button. You click on that, and based on where you're at in the conversation, it will give you real-time call guidance of what to potentially say next to the seller here. So pretty unbelievable. It's even something you can go in here, man, and go in and just say, yeah, let me go to my settings, my dialer settings, and upload under Alma, upload a dialer script. So they can take your script, Brent, which I love your TTP script. I love how you open the calls and like the goals that you're trying to set and all that. They just upload that into here, and it will take that into account as it's prompting you and saying, hey, feeding you the script in real time. So awesome. Pretty incredible there. As we go through this too, it's also doing AI sentiment analysis. So when the call is over, it'll say, here's your call summary. Here's what we think are your next steps. Oh, they didn't answer the call. Well, in the settings, you can set these follow-up goals of, if they don't answer, remind me in 30 days, put it back in my follow-up queue to call them. Or it was a warm lead that said, oh yeah, call me in, I might be interested. Hey, cool. Every 2 weeks, call put those in my follow-up queue. A hot lead call, every 2 days. Like you can go through and kind of set this, and based on where the sentiment analysis pops out, it'll tell you, hey, cool, we're going to put it in your follow-up queue according to what, your goals right here. So you'll see a little follow-up button, and inside my dialer tab now, I'll get my entire follow-up queue and just start calling those people when I'm supposed to call them. So you never lose track of a lead right there. So you've got all that right there. Final bit too is, you just hit next and keep calling. It can scrub out the DNC numbers, all of that right there for you. You've got this dashboard kind of tracking all of those calls, your activity, incoming calls and text messages come right here as well. So you can see like, here's my reply, can I call you back? You can see dialer sessions right here. So, hey, Vince made 19 calls, my business partner. Here was his contact rate. Here's, the calls that he made. Here are individual conversations. Let me see if I can find one. Here are individual conversations, like the voicemails he left right here. Okay, I can see word for word right there. So it shows you the full transcript of every single call that you've made right there. All of that included in kind of this tracking dashboard for you. So, and because of the spam cleaning feature, our contact rates have been crazy high. Like whenever you make an outbound call, what that looks like is that it's a single line dialer, because that's going to keep you out of the spam bucket. It makes a great first impression on that individual, because like a multi-line dialer, if you pick up, there's a couple seconds of silence right there for whoever's answering. People are getting keen to that now. Like people are hanging up much more. People are, you can burn bridges. You can make a bad first impression with that. So our goal was to make it really give you the best shot to have that great conversation right off the bat. And whenever you're calling, the kind of the magic to this system here, Brent, I can't remember if I've even told you this piece yet, but on the background, what we're doing is instead of locking you into one outbound number that you have to keep buying new numbers, there's an entire pool of numbers that all of Deal Machine gets, all Deal Machine customers. And so we are constantly checking those and throwing out the spam ones that are getting marked as spam. And you're getting the clean numbers that if I call you, Brent, this phone number is tied to my profile, to you specifically. It mirrors your area code. So that way, it gives you a higher contact right there. And now if you call back that specific number inside Deal Machine, it knows that is assigned to me. It will ring my phone and ring my Deal Machine right there. It's pretty unbelievable.
Awesome.
So,
yeah. Game changing.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
So all of those have led to awesome contact rates. So let me show you guys here.
Well, I think people need to understand that the average amount of cost before Deal Machine made the skip tracing part of the system was about $500 a month. And so that removed all of that cost for the contact info. Plus you guys have incredible different in those leads. There's a little picture of a person that'll help you find all of the different people that could be the owners of the relatives. It's absolutely incredible. If it's owned by an LLC, it's going to run it by open corporates to try to find who's the best person that you can get. There you go. So this is owned by an LLC, and it shows you who the officers are, and then you can go and find their contact information right there, which is awesome. What is that @ button? What is the
well, it's emails. So email addresses.
I mean, absolutely. There's no reason why we can't get a hold of any property owner that we're looking for.
Yep. And you can see here's likely owners, here's likely renters, family members, all that. So here's that property data we talked about. Here's that demographic data we talked about. You can see, hey, Maria's got a portfolio. You can see more about her. So that's the crazy thing, is when you actually make a call with this dialer, it pulls up all this info for you. Or if you're getting an incoming call, it pulls up this info for you. So you can see a great picture of who is calling, how to have a great conversation with them, more about their background, the property itself, all of that, everything you could possibly need in terms of due diligence. It is right there. You've got an unfair advantage right there to have a great conversation. So what the dialer looks like here, man, I want to show off the actual interface here. So if I hit the call button just on any of these leads, I'll just hang up right away. But if you hit call, it's going to pop open the dialer. You can see my voice. Let's see here. You see, what do I say next? You can see my voice going right here. That individual. If I hang up, here's where it's scoring that call. So it sees, hey, they didn't answer. If it was somebody who was a hot lead, again, based on that sentiment analysis, it would pull it right there. It's going to come up with an actual conversation summary for you. And then the crazy thing is, if you go to a voicemail, if it rings through this, and again, here's the contact, right, of who this individual is. If we actually go through to a voicemail calling this individual, there's going to be a drop voicemail button. And that button, you can opt into this. You can either use a regular voicemail, or in the application settings down here, we now have the AI voice clone option. So you can come in here, train the AI to mimic your voice. And that way, when you hit drop voicemail, it'll automatically say in your voice the right person, the right callback number, the right address, everything. You don't have to spend any time doing that stuff. You just hit drop voicemail, go to the next one.
Awesome.
So pretty unbelievable. So there we go, man. That's from a dialing perspective. That's really the keys to the inbound and outbound dialer. Again, the whole goal is just to remove all barriers for you, make it really simple and easy. It tracks all of this new dashboard we have in here. It tracks all of your activity. So you can see like mail sent, calls made, properties added from D4D and list builder. This is my real business too. So you're seeing like a lot of my numbers, but you're coming in here and just kind of showing all that for you. And that's really that second step is, again, go out there, work your D4D and list builder leads through the drive a list feature, through the call dialer, now the AI powered dialer with all this demographic data and skip trace data. And then the direct mail you talked about as well. You can just quickly, if you call and leave a voicemail, just hit start mail. And you've got a ton of default templates, like 15 or 16 default templates inside Deal Machine that are just fulfilled through our mailhouse. So you can see, hey, I can change how often they're sent. I can change what design I want to send them. I can create a sequence to say, send them this design, then this design, then this design, then this one, spread it out to once a month, and really be able to just set it and forget it. So that way it automates the entire process. And that's where, when you've got a little more marketing budget than you do time, awesome. You can put them on these one-to-many type approaches, this inbound marketing approach, and just wait for the calls to come to you. And oh, by the way, you've got the dialer with the call tracking. So now when they call, it's going to ring in Deal Machine, pull up their data, and you can just answer it right there. So
awesome.
There we go, man. So that is step 2. Are we good for step 3? Anything else when it comes to marketing? Perfect.
I mean, listen, there's so many. I mean, we talked about it, right? If you don't have the budget, you have to be proactive. If you do have the budget, you can certainly send out direct mail. Just make sure, if you're going to send out direct mail, my advice to you is this: when you see that Deal Machine app ringing, you need to answer it.
Answer that thing.
You need to answer it, because that is money time. That is it should be like a cash register going off inside your head when you hear those calls coming in through that app, because it's it's coming from a postcard. And so what I would also do is I would make sure that the caller ID that you're calling from for your when you're reaching out and being proactive is different than the number that you have on your postcards. Because the caller ID, because people will just call you back and call you back and call you back. And if you're sending out mail and you're doing calls, then you're going to think that the person calling you back is somebody that was from a mailer, and there's different expectations there. And I don't want you to be disappointed when people call and they're like, hey, I just missed a call from this number. Who is this? Right. As opposed to, okay, this call's coming in. It's a mailer call, rock and roll.
Yeah, the great thing about that, Brent, is the outbound dials. That is where, again, like, it's that spam cleaning system. So you're locked into a very specific number. The inbound, so if you're getting a call from a mailer, that's your call tracking number. That's static. So that one, you can see my call tracking is right here. It's all set up. Now, when we send out a postcard and it automatically inserts your phone number on that postcard in the signature, that's your call tracking number. So you'll know, it'll ring Deal Machine, and you'll understand, hey, that's an inbound call versus the outbound call, if that makes sense.
Awesome.
Yep. So perfect. So that is step 2. Step 1. Build a list of the most motivated sellers in your market by driving for dollars, virtual driving, pulling the list like that. Step 2 is marketing to those people, doing it in a variety of ways. We gave you the drive a list feature. We gave you the dialer and skip tracing. We gave you the direct mail. Awesome. Use technology to make all that simple and easy. The final bit here is great. You're having a great conversation with the seller. You're using your TTP scripts. You're using all of the resources that Brent gives you to have great conversations. Now, if you get to price, hey, what do you offer? How do you go through and understand what the value of that property is and what your max allowable offer should be? And so in Deal Machine, we've got a couple things here to help you do that. I will say, first and foremost, on this view, it's kind of like a light CRM. So you can change the lead status. You can add notes and tasks and things like that to make sure that you stay on track with working those leads. So that's a great way to kind of continue to follow up with people. But when you click on an individual property, 2 things I want to point out. First one is our AI assistant, Alma, that I mentioned earlier. This little glowing orb down here, this is on pro accounts and up specifically. When you click on Alma, the top 2 things that this AI assistant is good at is, one, understanding like how to get in touch, like how to communicate with the seller. Things like, how do I get in touch with them, or giving you advice on how to write a text message, or how to write a postcard, things like that are kind of language based. It's using ChatGPT with a bunch of different prompting and data that we fed it. So it's good at language based stuff. And then the other thing is property analysis. So coming in here right away, when it says, hey, what offer are you going to be making? You can say, hey, help me analyze this. Well, I'm thinking about wholesaling it. It'll come in and say, well, you know what, based on the max allowable offer that we're calculating and the outstanding loan balance, this could be a good deal. Awesome. Great. Well, hey, help me calculate the offer price. I'm going to wholesale it. And you can actually come in here and, like, I know you've mentioned this before, Brian, you can really kind of coach, use Alma to really understand how do we come to this price over and over by tweaking the formula that's in there. So we've got like, hey, here is, it's usually doing the ARV times 0.7 minus rehab minus assignment fee. So you can come in here and use that. You could say, hey, I want to make this much assignment fee, or the repair cost. It's using general repair cost data that's estimated in here based on the building condition code and repair cost per square footage in that area. But you might go run the numbers. You might use I love your chart, Brent, of like, if it's this square footage and in this general condition, here's the number to use. Go in there, say, hey, rehab cost is 75 or 70K. What is my new MAO? Cool. And now based on that, it'll then sub in that new rehab cost, rework all the numbers for you, and come back with a different max level offer. So you've got this AI assistant that can really kind of be in your pocket as a co-pilot to help you quickly run those numbers and be really, really confident in what that offer is going to look like. And then you can even back that up with using our comping tool. So this little comps button, and this is pulling MLS comps into Deal Machine for you too. So, I know we just did a live the other day, Brent, on comping. Well, hey, you can go into here, filter out comps and say, yeah, and this is on desktop or mobile. You can go in and say, yeah, let me go in and filter out comps, show me all MLS comps within the last 3 months with this square footage range, this year built range, this default range in distance. And then based on all those factors, can get in there and get really specific and say, yeah, awesome. Now I've got all these comps right here for me to work with. And oh, by the way, I can even draw in that area to get even more specific on where's the tool here. Awesome. The draw tool, and say, yeah, show me only the properties in this box. And now it's giving me a really, really confident estimated value based on the dollar per square footage of all those MLS comps right there.
I'm telling you, it removes all of the, listen, the real skills in this business of sourcing and finding great real estate opportunities comes in the middle part, the conversion part of our business. There's lead generation, conversion, and then exit strategy. The conversion part, that's where we really build our skills. That's when we're speaking with the property owners. We're pre-qualifying them based on the condition of the property, their timeline to sell, their motivation, and their price. And remember this, a lead is somebody that has made the decision that they're going to sell. All right. We are deal finders, not deal creators.
Yep.
Put that like in front of you everywhere. We're deal finders, not deal creators. Have they made the decision that they're going to sell the property? Great. Do you understand the condition, their timeline, their motivation, their price? Great. Now you've got a great qualified lead. Set the appointment so that you can present an offer or present the offer virtually over the phone or however you do it based on your business model. But that's where we should be focusing. And that, I think, if you were to boil down, I think the philosophy of you guys and David and yourself, Matt, as you guys were creating this, you really wanted to create this as a tool to lend us more time to be able to work on the skills of converting and solving the problems of the property owners, not staying in theory and not staying in education mode and not staying in research mode.
Yeah,
that's why this is so awesome. And guys, Deal Machine it was made by and for investors. All right. This isn't just like some Silicon Valley tech, wizard that put together an app and just decided to try to push it out. This is made specifically for us, by us. And if I were to boil down all of it, it's just so that we can focus on how the actual income producing parts of this business, which is conversations and offers. I'll say it a million times, but it's the absolute truth. And you use this tool. And by the way, guys, this tool is not, $1 bazillion a month. It's probably too inexpensive. Too cheap. I don't want to say cheap, but I mean it's really not. It really doesn't break the bank. It really doesn't. And the value that you get is far greater than the price. And so that's what it allows you to do. And whenever you're deciding what tools and resources to use in your business, I think that should be the filter. Does it allow me to do more income producing activities, or is it just adding more things to my to-do list? And this is just, they just keep removing each and every one of the items on the to-do list to where all we do is we talk, we make offers, and we do deals. It's
Love
the best. It's the best.
Yep. Yeah, I think you nailed our philosophy, man. It's our goal is to, again, eliminate all the things that are potential obstacles, potential excuses to hold you back, and just make it so simple and straightforward to go out there, find the best, leads. So go out there, build a great list, go and actually get in front of those people and talk to them. So actually have conversations with them, line up, appointments and offers from that, and close that deal. So that's our goal, is everything we do to support you guys. We want to automate as much as possible. We want to make it, as we said, efficient, as effective as possible. That's the crash course playbook here, guys, of how to go do that first deal in the next 30 days, breaking down those 3 pillars for you. And really, really excited to announce this AI powered dialer and help you just run with all of the phone numbers that we already were giving you. So
it's absolutely incredible. So how can people get this?
Yeah. So if you go, I know on Deal Machine, if you just go to our site, that referral code TTP, that's going to let you try all this stuff out for free for 7 days. So everything I just laid out there for you, you get that free for 7 days. You get all the free skip tracing with it. You get to be able to actually, you get access to the dialer. You can start making calls. We have people who have done deals in those 7 days. So the goal is to just give you as much as possible for free there. And then on top of that, you get a bonus 50 free postcards to be able to reach out and start nurturing people with that direct mail. But use this crash course, use these 3 steps, get out there. And again, we've had over 10,000 deals done using the Deal Machine app. Like, this is what they're doing. They're putting in that work. They're putting in, they're using technology to automate that as much as possible, and really just working smart and hard. So I'd say get out there and use that. It's, I believe, dealmachine.com/TTP, I believe, will also work for you. We'll make sure to link to the right links for you guys as well. But that's going to unlock all of the special bonuses that you wouldn't get going through our website. But really excited to have you guys be that, 10,000 in first deal, right?
Well, listen, since 2018, I've been using Deal Machine. I've been talking about Deal Machine. People have been using Deal Machine. They've done 10,000 deals, right? 10,000 deals have been sourced from using an app. That's
that we know
incredible.
Yeah.
And it's, and whatever, and the website, but the average deal size is 15,000. That's $150 million made from just literally this training that we did over the last less than an hour. This is what people are doing to go out there and find unbelievable deals. So don't overthink this. Build the list, make contact with them, and make an offer. That's it. That's the whole, that's how you go out and get your first deal. And I am telling you, you can do this in the next 30 days. You can find a deal within the next 30 days. No doubt about it. You can go and have incredible conversations with these property owners right away, like literally today, and start building your pipeline of opportunities. Do it. Massive, imperfect action. Call them up and see if they would consider an offer on their property, and you'll win. You will win. It's impossible to lose. I am telling you, you have enough quality conversations with people that own rundown houses. You make enough offers, you will win. It's inevitable. So go out, make it happen.
Absolutely. I know on our end as well, we do have, if you're watching this between July 1st and 10th, we do have a limited time AI dialer launch. There's a big kind of deal associated with that. That would be for people who are going all in. They're saying, yes, I'm going to invest in this more than just a few months, but want to do this for a year plus. It's an annual deal there. So you get a gigantic discount there. So for people that have that ambition and budget to go invest in that, that's a great way to invest in yourself. If not, hey, you know what? You've got that free trial there for you. It's just dealmachine.com/TTP, or use that TTP promo code. Get out there, try all this stuff out. You've got the knowledge. You've got the playbook right here. You've got, Brent's out there showing you exactly what to do as well, like world-class knowledge here too. You have everything you need to go succeed. It's just a matter of go doing it. So we're here to help, guys.
Awesome. Thanks, Matt. Thanks for being on here, guys. Go to dealmachine.com, use the coupon code TTP, and go find a deal. Love you guys. See you soon.
Happy deal finding. Yeah.